Hello everybody, it's Instructor Hudson with Open Arms ENT. Today we're going to be discussing a shooting involving a 24-year-old man from White Lake, Michigan, who decided to go outside and engage a group of teenagers that was breaking into his garage.
A White Lake homeowner charged with manslaughter after shooting at a group of teens and killing one of them after they allegedly broke into his detached garage. For the first time today, we're seeing security video of the shooting. Here's Fox 2's Scott Wolchak.
24-year-old Dayton Napton in court for a preliminary exam, charged with manslaughter and assault, accused of killing a young man who was accused of breaking into his garage with a group of teens in White Lake out on Mandan Drive, July 8th in the early morning hours. For the first time in court, we heard testimony, and we also saw video of this shooting take place from two different angles. You can see the whole group of teens wearing black hoodies climbing underneath that garage door very shortly after they run out. Prosecutors say Napton can be seen in the corner firing a gun. From the other angle, you can see Napton leaving his home in his underwear to fire at the teens and investigate his garage. Napton has pled not guilty to these charges. Investigators say he told them these teens were coming at him. Take a listen.
At some point, does he tell you, the defendant, does he tell you what he believed those individuals were doing in that garage, or what they're going to do to him?
He's told us that they approached him, or coming at him. That's how he phrased it.
Okay. And based upon your review of that video, did that appear to be consistent?
No.
In any of these clips that you observed where Mr. Napton fires that weapon, did you ever see anybody come at him in any of those clips?
I did not.
Testimony has wrapped up. The next court date is set for April 16th. Reporting in Clarkston, Scott Wolchak, Fox 2 News.
So we have a man who hears someone break into his garage. I'm not sure if he watched it on camera before going outside or not, but he was aware someone was breaking into his garage. So he decides to get his firearm, go outside and investigate. As he goes outside, it appears that he pulled on the door handle. The door did not open. Somewhere in between him pulling on that door handle and the teens rushed up from up under the garage door to flee. You can see the homeowner firing shots toward their direction as they're fleeing. That is not legal in the state of Michigan. At what point was the homeowner life in danger? Whatever's in the garage, that is property we cannot shoot no one to protect. Yes, we do have a right to go outside. We have the right to investigate criminal activity on our property. But at that point, we would be told, and it would be in our best interest to call law enforcement. Now, I'm pretty sure that the homeowner was very upset. I think they said somewhere else I read that it was documented that his garage had been broken into prior occasions. So I'm sure he was frustrated if he had anything that was stolen in the past. And I'm sure he had probably made up in his mind that if they come back and he was there and awake, he was going to go outside and defend his property. But unfortunately, again, in Michigan, we are not able to shoot no one to protect property. It doesn't appear at any moment that the homeowner life was in danger. It doesn't appear from the camera angles that we receive, that we're able to see, that he even interacted with the teenagers. He ran outside, pulled on the door handle. Clearly the door didn't open for whatever reason. They ran up from under the garage in the opposite direction. He pulled the firearm and started to fire shots. In the process of him firing shots, he killed a 17-year-old. So it's unfortunate that this incident happened. I'm sure that he was very upset, just as I would be and most other people would be to be violated and have someone break into my garage at 1 something in the morning when I'm trying to sleep and get some rest. But we have to think about what's the best decision to make at this time, especially if you have a family. If you have other people in the house, you may want to protect them first. Make sure that your family is safe. You may want to call police first. Now, it would have been a different story if they would have went into his home, but they went into a detached garage, which is not a part of his home. The homeowner told prosecutors and police that at some point they came towards him. In the video that we saw, it doesn't appear, again, that he made any contact with the teenagers. Again, we don't see his vision. I don't know what he's seen with his 2 eyes, but from the footage, it doesn't appear that they were coming towards him. Now, it would have been a different story if he was able to open the garage door, go inside the garage off camera, and then possibly engage the teenagers, and then you see them running from up under the garage. Because if he didn't have cameras in the garage, he would have been able to say basically anything. Also, that would have put his life in more danger. Me personally, if I see on camera that many individuals in all black with hoodies breaking into my garage, I don't care what kind of firearm I have, I'm not going outside. I don't care what's in the garage to protect. My life is more important. So I think he should have called the police, armed himself inside the home, and waited till police arrived. He would have been arming himself in the home just in case they decided to break into the home. But if I see that many individuals breaking into my garage, in my mind, nothing good is going to happen by me going outside and engaging these individuals. Either I'm going to kill multiple people or they're going to kill me. And the odds would have possibly been against him if they had a firearm. It did not say in the report that the teenagers had a weapon or a firearm. So these possibly unarmed teenagers was breaking into his garage to steal whatever was in there of value, which again, our life and our freedom is way more important than whatever's inside of that garage. So we must take the time to think about what's more important in our life. So if these things ever happen, you know immediately and automatically what to do. I just don't see him benefiting from going outside, engaging a group of teenagers or a group of anybody who's breaking into a garage. Maybe if it was one, that would have changed my mind. Because again, we are allowed to investigate. We are allowed to go out and figure out who is this in my yard? Who is this that is in my garage? But once they see you, the homeowner, and they decide to flee, you have to let them flee. You have to let them go. They did say one of the teenagers was captured and arrested and charged with breaking into his garage. So they didn't get away scot-free. I believe one was killed. I think another one may have been injured as well with gunfire. And then another one, or if not that one that was shot and survived, was charged with breaking into the garage. And of course, the code on the street he's not going to snitch on the other 4 or 5 individuals that fled the scene with him. So this means that there are other teenagers out here that was a part of this crime, but they're not going to talk. So I truly think if the homeowner, I think if he's thinking about this now, I honestly think he regrets going out there and firing shots into these individuals as they were breaking in his garage. I think if he could hit the rewind button, he would have stayed in a home. I'm pretty sure White Lake police have a pretty decent response time, and they would have got there in a timely fashion, and those individuals possibly would have been arrested. Because in White Lake, Michigan, I'm sure those 7 African Americans in all black with hoodies would have stood out in that neighborhood at 1 o'clock in the morning. So he could have stayed in the house and just called the police. And they, 1, 2, or 3 of them would have been arrested. Maybe not all of them, but some of them would have been arrested just by him staying in the house calling the police. And this is not a situation where he was getting up for work, going to work. He was getting up, going to his vehicle to leave for work, and then, whoa, he was surprised with this group of individuals inside of the garage. He went out there specifically to investigate who was breaking into his garage. And in that moment, when he saw them flee, he decided to fire shots. And unfortunately, that part of it is illegal. So a victim now turns into someone who is fighting for his freedom and is trying to prevent from going to jail. Very important thing I noticed with this homeowner when he got to firing shots. If you know anything about firearms, you know that he had a semi-automatic pistol. But if you can look at the video, you can clearly see when he fired a round, he racked the slide. Every shot he fired, he racked the slide. So however many rounds was in that magazine, you can cut that in half. So if it was a 12-round magazine, he was only going to get off 6 rounds because every time he fired a shot, he racked the magazine or he racked the slide. So what that tells me is, and what you need to understand is, in real life situations, humans revert to their lowest level of training. So that's why it's important to train with your firearm. It's important to practice, to go to the range, to put yourself in a situation, if possible, where you're under some type of stress when you're shooting, defensive shooting training. Because in real life situations, no matter how great you are, you revert to your lowest level of training. So I don't know if that man ever shot the firearm before or if he was a regular at the gun range. But in that moment, that's his lowest level of training, firing around and then racking a slide, which if he was getting shot back at, it would have put him in a not good position because he wouldn't have had as many rounds as he should have had. So it's very important to train your mind, train your body, know your weapon, know what to do in these situations if possible before they happen. Go over these scenarios. So with me seeing this scenario, that lets me know that if someone is outside in my garage, I'm going to call law enforcement. I'm not going to go outside and then engage individuals that are fleeing my property. If they fled the property with just seeing me outside with a pistol, I'm happy with that scenario. I don't have to necessarily kill no one or shoot someone because they were trying to steal whatever was in my garage. Honestly, I don't want to have to take a life because of someone trying to steal from me. If I was forced to take a life, it's because that individual was trying to take my life or the life of someone close to me. Self-defense is about being right within the law. One bad decision can turn you into a defendant. This is Instructor Hudson here with Open Arms ENT. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Everybody have a great day. Peace.